base yards. What was the last year's defensive at the snap, the space to eligibles um, ratio? Meaning how how much is the defense off? What's the pass rush? Are we th- things will be more even when the whole entirety of the offense is even. When our ground game is where we want it and our line of scrimmage play is where we want it. The pre-snap depth of defenders and what they're defending at the very beginning of the snap and post-snap, that changes as well. To me, I'm just not trying to um, throw. I'm not trying to tell Tua to throw the ball to defensive players. Um, Turnovers are a huge part of the game, or get sacks. So you have to earn those explosive opportunities. Um, to answer your question, the hope is that there will be more based upon the defense presentations that we earn. But the one thing last year showed us is that we have to earn everything based upon previous things we've done, and that they will simply take away explosive pass game by pre-snap depth unless you can make them pay in the ground game.
Yeah. I want to answer this one. So, why does the team run more RPO? Because run pass option. Nobody's buying the run, so it doesn't. So there's ways, there's keys. If you want to very quickly assess how your team's doing, don't look at your team. Look at how the defense is playing you on a consistent basis. So you start at the linebackers. The linebackers tie everything together. And the linebackers, they have multifaceted roles, but their job is critical. So whatever you see them doing soon as the ball snapped on a consistent basis, whether they're reading and reacting, dropping, stepping up, blitzing, that's going to tell you what the defensive coordinator is thinking. In many ways, going to tell you what they're thinking about how his defensive front is handling that offensive line. It's going to tell you what he is keying in on. If you see them taking steps up, that means they're concerned, or the DC is concerned. If you see them blitzing, run blitzing, that means you know the DC is concerned. If you see them read and reacting, that means they're kind of, on a consistent basis. That means, you know what, I'm pausing, but I'm not really too hot and heavy on what you can do in the run game. And if you see them dropping instantly, that means they have total disregard for your run game and they're selling out for the pass. And if you marry that little bit with the leverage that they're playing, so when you see prior to the snap, where is that Mike? How deep is he? How is, we don't play with three linebackers anymore, but two linebackers. How deep is that Sam or Will? And that will also tell you. So when you're watching all that, those are tells. And if you watch the Dolphins, the tells are ridiculous. I've been meaning to do the video from the Broncos game all at the end of last year. And it's the same. We had a big game against the Broncos because they had the guys pinched inside. They were playing us honest. They were blitzing, stepping up, and we just crunched them. But then quickly after that game, they elongated the edge players. They abandoned the A and B gaps. The linebackers went straight to read and react or drop. They started blitzing us far less. They played high over coverage leverage, and there was really very little variation. I think that was the Charger game, was the beginning of 23 season. There was very little variations. Now, situationally, it was different. You had teams like KC and Philly who would situationally play us different, but the gross book that was on us was this. It's because they did not fear us. And so I had a graph I put in my podcast 2 days ago, the AI podcast, and it's a very simple thing. You just go and check what's the blitz rate what's the pressure rate. And if you see those two lines, if the blitz rate is higher than the pressure rate, then that defense is operating inefficiently. If the pressure rate is above the blitz rate, that means it's acting more efficiently. And as that separation between the two grows and grows, now you're seeing, depending on how deep that separation becomes, how poor the offensive line is, not only how efficient the defense is. So if you go check the Dolphins, I was going to put the graph up here. I got to get I got Adobe now. I got to put a PDF. But you look at 22, the pressure rate was slightly above the blitz rate. And so the defense that we were facing were slightly more efficient but not terrible. That's kind of in a normal range. But when you get to 23, it separates by a whole deviation. I mean, it's wide and broad. They dropped their blitz rate to like 23%, but the pressure rate was higher than that. And it showed gross efficiency, which ties into the inefficiency of the offensive line. But then in 24, it nosedived even more, and the separation even grew more. And so it's a very easy way, especially now the way to spin that or to amplify it or to add context is the time to throw. So if a team is throwing very long and they're taking deep drops, then you can kind of see that a little bit more. But in 24, our average time to throw went down, but the distance of the throwing went down. We went down to like 6 point something per pass. And so the short throws, the total lack of blitzing, and the quick throwing, all that tied together with the separation of these two numbers, the blitz rate and the pressure rate, it's undeniable. It's like saying, sky is pink. And so if you just want to go check these numbers, it's a very easy way. If you want to watch the film, it's a very easy way. And the good news is this season, you will be able to tell whether this team's on the right track or not very, very quickly. Week 1, this team will face a defense. They're going to use the same book that they used last year and the year before. Do they run that same book, the one I've described for a couple of years now, through the entire game? And do they win, or is it close? If they do, be nervous. But if they come out with that same book and then they start changing from that book, then you know we're on the right track. And then use that as a data point and go through the first 4 games. And you look at the DCs. After week 1, you check the DC's response in week 2. Do they change the book? Do they stick with the book? How much do they alter the book? And so if you just watch the defenses over the first 4 weeks and the book they use, it will tell you very clearly what they're seeing, how they're reacting, and then it will tell you if what we're doing is legit or not. Because we can win because we're a better team or have some more talent or get lucky. But if the book is still operating on us the same, ultimately that consistency will catch up with us and we'll begin to lose. But if they start altering that book, teams down the road, defensive coordinators will begin altering that book. And once they start altering that book to more normal looks, blitzing, crunching, stepping up, controlling the box, then they're cooked. Start building your own online sports book today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.